Welcome, everybody.
Harry Hog. Yeah, it's never any question. I know somebody's going to show up for us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Hi,
so
Sarah.
then we
Welcome.
and see Sarah. Okay,
Sarah just popped in.
Sarah. Hey, hello,
Hey.
Mary. Thanks. Good to see you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good to see
So
y'all.
absolutely, it's a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I'm fired up today.
Oh my gosh. And Thomas, look at this. This is a great crew joining us on a beautiful Wednesday morning or whatever time you happen to be in. Maybe it's a different
Absolutely.
day where they are.
Absolutely. Well, it's 7 a.m. here. Hi, Thomas. Hi, Mary. Yes. So absolutely. I'm not sure we want to wait a few more minutes because
Okay.
we were talking about what are we going to talk about today? I'm like, we're going to talk about a number of things and we're going to bring value to the people in the room. Okay.
I know. We've got
Whatever
some
that is.
awesome humans in the room. Hey, folks, if you're already commenting, because I'm new to Margaret's feed. Excuse me, Margaret's
That's
feed
all
here.
good.
Why don't you tell me a little about who you are and where you are, if you're willing to share that. If not, that's cool too. But I'm just curious. I'm Nicole, by the way, and I'm sure we'll say more about who I am in a hot minute. But you can also click my link, I think that's above my head or whatever, and find out more about me that way too.
Well, since you're talking, you may as well go ahead and introduce yourself formally, okay?
All right.
We're not, we're you among friends here.
I'm among friends here. Oh, Mark. Hey, Mark. Welcome. So glad that you're here. Yeah. I know I'm among friends. There's some really good friends in there. I'm Nicole Havelka. I'm a burnout recovery coach, sustainability strategist, and since January 1st, I'm also a podcast host of the podcast Just Rest. I just manifested something I've been thinking about for a very long time. So I'm excited about that. Yay!
Great. Okay, I'm Margaret Williams. I am the author of in the Empowered Leader, okay, publication, and I'm a certified executive leadership coach, systemic team coach. I am also an industrial and organizational uh, psychologist. Okay, and I retired from the federal government this past September with 39 years of service as a civilian. So here I am today having this conversation with Nicole. I am honored. Actually, uh, thank you. I'm honored to be here with Nicole today. Nicole and I met through my girl. Tell me her name, okay?
Heather Vickery.
Yeah, she's an awesome coach. She's into human design. Hello, Heather. That's my girl. Okay, she is she's not a manifest. She manifester or no? She's a projector. She's a projector in human
no, I think
design.
she's a Manny Gen.
What?
I think she's a Manny Gen.
Okay, I know. She told me she was a projector because
she
needs to be called. She told me she needed to be called. Okay, if I wanted her for a podcast, I'd have to call her. So she's a projector.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm a manifesting generator. Okay. And I like to talk. So here we are today.
I'm just a straight up generator. I've only learned that in the last year or so. But yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we when we had our conversation over Zoom, we said we were going to talk about burnout, recognize, and resist. Okay. Now, how are you feeling today? Which direction you want to go today? Because we are flexible and adaptable. We have to be in today's world. We can't be fixated on with one's train of thought. We have to remain open. Okay.
Right.
So
I'm happy to. I mean, I could talk about burnout any single day if we want to talk about that, and then see like that can also go a lot of directions. And I'll just say I'll put a little tweak, a little spin on what I'm thinking about. The thing I think about burnout a lot, and the reason I started my podcast was because burnout is affecting and will continue to affect us a lot as we deal with the world that we're living in, not just our formal work, whatever that might be. That's how people tend to think about burnout, is with the job they have, and that sort of thing. But I think burnout is actually more expansive or can apply in different ways in our lives. Um, so I'll just say really quick the three main sort of hallmarks or symptoms, if you will, of burnout, which are emotional exhaustion. So, like, I sort of characterize that as a sort of numbness that you have. Like, you just don't have, like, your emotional reaction is off, or you don't have one. The next one, the fancy word is depersonalization. But what that means is that it's the flip side of that coin, which is like you can't feel compassion for other people. You're like having trouble connecting with others, or maybe especially if you're in a helping profession or you're a coach or something like that, it's harder for you to feel empathy for the person with whom you're having a conversation, or even empathy about a group of people. Maybe empathy about what's happening in the news right now. For example, it's really easy to numb ourselves, right? Because it's so hard to take any given day. And then finally, it's the last one is sort of this sense that nothing you do matters anymore. So, in other words, nothing you do has impact. Nothing, nothing you do matters. And so, what happens if we don't feel like we're making a difference? We just stop doing it, right? We just stop doing it. I think that last part could easily, like, if you were a psychologist diagnosing it, you could probably start calling that depression. I don't know I don't know the technical. That's me. I'm not a psychologist. I'll fess to that right now. But that was the definition developed by Herbert Freudenberger, a German psychologist in the 1970s. And it's also, a lot of it is explained in the book Burnout, by Emily and Amelia Nagoski, which I recommend a whole lot. If you haven't read that, read that book. It's a good one. So yeah, that's how, I mean, so we can take that in a number of ways. And I've ranted a little bit about burnout and how I see it kind of manifesting today, with people, whether it's their jobs, which that can certainly happen, but it can happen with other things. What are you thinking? What does that bring it up in you, Margaret?
Wow. I have a list of things. I don't know if we have time here, but I'm
Pick
noticing
one,
it
my
now.
dear.
Okay. Since I retired, because I was burnt out from work because I'm a workaholic. Okay.
Hmm.
And I'm a perfectionist
Sure.
because I have to I'm not trying to compete with other people per se. I'm, I'm competing against myself.
Mm. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay. I have that A personality.
Yeah,
Okay. So I go back and look. I do an inventory every day. What mistake did I make? How can I do things different tomorrow
yeah,
to get my to raise the bar, to keep raising the bar, and that's exhausting. It's
it
exhausting.
is. Yeah. Well, and I'm wired similarly. Like, every time I do a thing, and even if it's good, even if what I'm doing is good, or I feel good about it, I'm always like, then I'm taking another look at it and being like, here's these three, four, five things I can do better next time. And that's not all better, or that's not all bad. Like, wanting to improve is certainly not a bad thing. But if we're aiming for perfection, like, that's just a losing proposition, because perfection doesn't actually exist. Like, it's a
Just
myth.
here.
It's in our
It
head,
is.
like there is. And it's a tool. I think you know this. It's a tool, actually, of toxic capitalism, white supremacy, patriarchy, to try to keep us on that ladder of achievement, which we never really achieve. We're never going to achieve the status or the level of perfection needed, because the reality is, perfect is only a certain kind of person in a certain kind of body in our system. And if you aren't born in that, then you're never actually going to attain that. But that's where that idea comes from. If I'm just smart enough, competent enough, pretty enough, helpful enough, whatever the thing is, I'll be on even footing with those other people who are above me, so to speak. That's just
Never.
nonsense. They're never gonna let you do it. So just
No.
be you, Margaret. I know you post a lot about this. Just be you and just be
Yeah,
good enough for today. I try to tell myself
exactly.
that.
No. This moment,
Yeah,
because we know it can change. Something can change and just upset the balance. We know. That's why I stay
right.
away from the fucking news. Okay.
Right.
That's why I stay away from chaotic people, chaotic
Yeah.
things. I leave that shit outside. I'm not letting it into my inner space. I don't give a
Yeah,
damn
yeah, yeah.
what and who you are. You can be the president of the United States. You are not coming into my space. Period. I
Mhm.
made too many sacrifices.
Mm.
This is where I am. That's why I got rid of that toxic job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, good for you.
Like, we have to have boundaries. We have to have discernment.
Mm. Yeah, preach. Preach. So what's a boundary you set for yourself these days? News, so you stay away or minimize your contact with news. What are some other helpful boundaries these days? And that'll be different for everybody. So Margaret's boundaries are her boundaries, not mine or anybody else, any of the other 12 beautiful souls who are on this call right now.
That's why I'm so at peace. I'm not letting nobody and nothing come and
Yeah.
steal my joy, my peace, my
Mm.
serenity. Okay, because that's
Yeah.
all I have. And
Yep.
from that place, I can create whatever comes to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I love that.
and that is why I am here on this earth, because our time is limited. We could go out there and get hit by a car today, and we're
Yeah.
gone
Yeah.
just like that, blink of an eye. Okay,
Yep.
so this is who I am. This is what I stand by. You got to stand for something. You know what I'm saying? And because all the things that we're talking about, this burnout, this comes from fucking childhood. My father telling
Mm.
me I'm never gonna be nothing, that I'm crazy,
Mm.
that I'm useless. You know, I even had a supervisor to tell me that I was responsible for my own feelings. Who
Mm.
tells somebody like that? Who talks to people like that? Somebody talk
Mhm.
to you like that, they are not in your corner. Okay?
Mhm.
They don't love you. I realized it took me so long to figure that out, because I tried to please my father, because I had him put him up on a pedestal. Okay? He was a minister. He
Mm.
was an outstanding member in the community.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Be respected. Okay? And
Yeah.
then to treat your own family like shit under your shoe. I just
Yeah.
I still can't completely cut that cord, okay? But all
Yeah.
these experiences helped me, because I can identify people with the same characteristics, okay?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I've always become a target, okay, of people's wrath without even trying, because I'm an empath, and I can see things and I can sense things.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, I try to stay to myself and just try to help people, because somebody helped me. Okay? Somebody
Yeah.
helped me.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah. And I've
I'm gonna
been
give you go
oh,
ahead.
this is no, no, you're just pulling me into the reflection that I've been doing really since the beginning of 2026. And I'm a person that sets like guide words for the year. I'm one of those people. And so the And I really feel like these words choose me, not the other way around. Like they come up for me in some way. And so support and ease were the two words that came up for me. Sometimes it's one, sometimes in this case it's two. So here's what happened, Margaret. This is my story for the beginning of 2026. So it started off really great. I launched this podcast. We dropped the first 3 episodes on January 1. Things were going really well with that. They still are actually. It's a baby podcast, but it has over 100 downloads already, which is like a big deal for a little podcast. So that's still going well, and it was going well. And then I think it was January 3rd or 4th. Earlier in the day, my computer, which I've had for 5.5 years, I have a really good MacBook Pro, no problems with it up to that point, worked in the morning. And then I noticed it wasn't charging right. And this had been going on since I had swapped out like one of those cables in it. Like I had changed the USB-C cord recently. And I was just thinking, this one must not be good. I'm going to need to go get another one, was what I was thinking. Right. And then and then later in the day, I came home. I had put it on a different power strip, thinking it was maybe the power strip. And like hours later, I go to turn the computer back on. It blinks like just a little bit of light at me and then done. It won't turn back on. You know how devastating for someone who does this kind of content creating, I have my own business, like my whole world is my computer, right? It won't turn
Right.
on. And I'm still cautiously optimistic that I just need to replace the power cord. I won't bore you with all the details of this. Long story short, after different diagnoses of what may or may not be wrong with the computer, the end result is that it's totaled. Like I could fix it, but I would need to replace the motherboard, the battery, and a whole load and like another thing, and that would cost like well over $1,000 for all of that, which you
You may as
might
well
as
buy
well
another
buy a new
computer.
computer. So hopefully if all is well, but I wasn't in a place where I was like I hadn't been thinking about buying a new computer, so like I didn't want to make a decision quickly or on the fly. So, you know what I've been doing? Like immediately, because my local library is really awesome. We can shout out local libraries. I went to the library that second day and I said, I got 3 video conferences. How can you help me? And they have a Chromebook you can borrow at their like
Oh,
in the build you have to keep it in the building, but you can borrow a computer. And they said, and they usually limit you to the study rooms to 2 hours. They're like, we make exceptions. We'll let you do your stuff, and here's your
oh my
time.
goodness.
Like they had my back, Margaret. Like these folks at the library, like we got you, we got you. So the library, and then I started asking around. I found he didn't ultimately wasn't able to fix the computer, but I now have like a really great like computer fix it guy here in town who
Oh,
doesn't like throwing things away. Like he's all about fixing them if he can. Um, I have all these other people, and a friend of mine loaned me like his extra laptop until I could figure out buying a new one and everything else. So I have leaned into support in a way that I have never, um I've never had to before in a lot of ways, or maybe I'm just aware of it. So tomorrow, my new computer is supposed to arrive, hopefully, but that's almost 3 weeks of no primary computer by the time I get it and get it running again, because just to set it up will take a hot minute. So that's what I've been thinking about is about support. And I think part of what burns us out, Margaret, and you tell me if I'm wrong, is that in our culture, this false notion, I would say, that we're independent, that we do things all on our own. This rugged individualism is really where, like this is where it's all at or whatever, that this is how it's done. I'm like, that is just nonsense. Like none of us does this alone. Everybody, all of us do this with support. And why is it so shameful to need support when that's just how we're built?
you know, I, you're right. On one hand, you
Yeah.
are right altogether. Okay, you're right altogether. But the
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
is when a lot of times when you depend on people, they let you down, and
Hmm.
you end up by
Sure.
yourself anyway. So why ask anybody for help?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why take the chance and being rejected? Because I've been rejected my whole
For
life.
sure.
So why put myself in a situation where I have to be vulnerable and be told no?
Yeah.
Or people just don't show up for you.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I just rather than to put myself in that situation, I just rather do it myself.
Right.
But
Well,
but you're
yeah.
right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think we have to be careful. That I love that you brought up that point, because now you don't put yourself in just any old person's hands necessarily. Like we have to find the people who are at least trustworthy most of the time. Like I mean, none of us is 100% reliable. Like I try to be reliable for my friends and family, but I'm not.
Right.
Like, because I'm a human, right?
Right, right,
I
right.
fail to show up for people sometimes. I forget, like, probably more often than not, I'm forgetting stuff. Like, I'm forgetting to show up for people. I forget to send them that text I should probably send them because they need support in one way or another, or they need a thing that I just don't have for whatever reason, like I can listen to them and know that they're struggling, but I don't necessarily like most people in my life didn't have a computer they could magically give me. Like that wasn't an option, but they could offer me like a bunch of other support in different ways, right? Um yeah. So I don't know. I think it is complicated though cuz I'm with you. I'm someone who has not trusted people easily. Like I too have often I'm like I'm self-reliant. I'm going to have everything together and put together and I'm going to depend on myself, but it also feels really good sometimes to ask for help and get it because you do get it sometimes. Is it all the time? No. But
I'm gonna get.
yeah.
I'm gonna give you an example. Okay.
Yeah, go
A,
for it.
cou- a, a couple of days ago, I was out with my dogs, walking my dogs, and I got caught up I got caught up in one of the leashes,
Mhm.
and my Great Pyrenees got away.
Mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So my heart was pounding. And so I let the golden retriever go. I told Prince, go get Ruger. Okay. My
Mhm.
concern is, okay, fortunately it would go all the way down to the road. There was a fork in the road like this. And
Uh-huh.
my
Uh-huh.
heart was pounding fast. So
Yeah.
last time they got away, I ran and I fell because my leg buckled up underneath me. So this time I'm like, don't run, breathe, take your time, and walk down there. And I kept calling their names, okay? And
Yeah, yeah.
while I was going down there, I was like, Jesus, keep me near the cross. I
Yeah.
kept saying, Jesus, keep me near the
Yeah, yeah.
cross. Because I'm like, if they go down there and they get hit, oh my God, I'm gonna be messed up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. And I kept saying, Jesus, keep me near the cross while I was walking down there. When I got down there to the end, this lady came out of nowhere. She's like, are these your dogs? I said, yes, they got away. And she said, oh, this is a Great Pyrenees. I got one. And she got in her truck and drove off. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I was, I was just
Yeah.
so grateful at that moment. I was just so grateful. I just was just so messed up.
Right. Well, and some of that is retraining our brain and our body to really remember those moments when that random stranger helped you. Like that you did the world like offered you support. Like and you were asking for it because you were in the name of Jesus. You were asking for that help in one way or another, right? And so you were
Yes.
asking for that help. And you know what? That woman who like didn't know you, like didn't know who these dogs belonged to, saw them running off. Like someone obviously, I'm guessing they had leashes, right? Because you had them
No.
walking.
Oh,
No.
the leashes were on the dogs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you didn't have them, right? The dogs had leashes.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Oh gosh. But she said these dogs are running away from somebody. I'm gonna try to make sure that they get back to the right person. And look, she did.
I even
How
called
about
my
that?
ancestors. I even called my ancestors too. I said
Mm,
I was calling everybody. I was just calling. I kept going.
yeah,
And she's
yeah.
just out of the blue, she just came out. And that's what things have happened to me over the course of my life.
Yes. Yes.
Strangers come out of nowhere and say, oh, you need some help?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yes, seriously. So it's not people that I know that helped me. It's strangers came out of nowhere.
Mm. Yeah, and Karen in our chat says an angel. Is that person an angel? Yeah.
Yes. And we don't, okay, I don't care what your faith is. You can even be an atheist. Call whatever name is going to help you to get through it. If it's your mother, whatever.
Right.
I believe in the laws of attraction. Okay.
Mm.
What you think, what you put out is what you get back.
Yes. Yeah. You're gonna get more of it. Yep.
And that example of the dogs is an example.
It's a
We
great
have
example.
all these powers, all these gifts and skills. We need to tap into that to reach our goals.
Yep.
And we don't realize that until something happened, and then you're like, "Oh
Yeah.
my God!" People first thing they say, "Oh my God!"
Right. Right.
And then when you say that, the universe will just bring things on and to help you on your path.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That's why that's why I came back to my faith. That's why I came back to what I know is true that works for me. People will forsake you, but
Mm.
my faith is strong and I always have that to rely on.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Always.
Right. Right. Whatever one's individual faith is, rely like that's something that, like your joy, that's something that people can't take. You
That's their
know.
problem. That's their problem.
Right. Like this
That's
is mine.
insecurities inside of them. That's their
Sure.
problem. This
Yeah.
is where I
Sure.
am today.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I know this stuff worked because I wouldn't be alive today if it didn't.
Yeah. Amen. Oh, my friend Stephanie is out there. Hi, Stephanie. It's good to see you. Hi there. Hi, Kyra. We're just getting all kinds of people joining us today. Is this how fun
Yeah.
things are for you all the time, Margaret? I need to be here more often, is what I think. This is awesome.
Well,
My
you
little
know,
my little Substack doesn't get quite so many views when I'm on it, but that's okay. It's all right.
no, it does. You just don't realize it.
Well, it's true. It's when it's later. I'm sure they do. I don't pay much attention later, for sure.
Okay, because I don't pay attention to likes anymore because people are listening and looking whether
Yeah,
you realize it or not.
for sure. For
Okay?
sure.
So
Yeah.
we talked about that burnout. Burnout is more than just from work. It can be from your personal
Yep.
challenges that you're facing. You be burned out from those things, and every time you turn around, once you fix one problem, then another problem develops, and another problem develops, and then you start to see these patterns, pattern recognition, and you like,
Yeah.
whoa, why are these things keep happening to me?
Right.
Most times, it's because of our own what the things that we're doing or things that we're not doing. So we need to take a step back and look at the situation. Why are these things keep happening to me?
Yeah.
That's why I
Yeah.
like to do this personal inventory every day to see
Mm.
what I did, how I can improve. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me more. Are there specific questions that you ask yourself? Is there, or is it you sit down and like do a little journaling on how your day was and how it could be better? How do you do it?
Basically, I'm just more of a if something bothers me during the day that I may have felt like I should
Okay.
have maybe said something differently or done something
Yes.
differently,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
okay? Look at
Yeah.
my actions.
Yep.
Actions speak louder than words, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes words speak louder than
Right.
action now that I think about it. That's
Right.
why I try to be careful how I show up.
Right.
And because your words can hurt people. I know my words can hurt people
For sure. Yes.
without even
Right.
trying.
Right, right,
So
right.
if I'm trying to hurt you, I can. But why would I do that? What point would that make to hurt you?
Right.
Okay?
Right,
So
right.
I try to be mindful of that. And sometimes it's better to say nothing
Yeah.
because saying nothing is sometimes is the best response.
Right. 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 And I'm seeing someone in the chat saying that they like burnout from caretaking for ill or and elderly parents. Often people like they talk about the sandwich generation. Like I'm in that age range. My parents actually passed when I was pretty young, so like that I don't have the sandwich. But like you're raising children and you're caretaking for elderly parents at the same time. That is definitely a place where and if you're working a job on top of that, like, that can be incredibly yeah, it's all a recipe for burnout. There's no way that anyone can do all of those things well simultaneously without support. And our our government and other things don't offer that support right away, like as immediately as it does in some other places in the world, right?
And
So
it
we don't have that.
and it's still not enough.
Right. Right. And it's still not
And
enough.
that's
Exactly.
and that's why we need to think about buying long-term
Yeah.
care. Okay, because our medical insurance does not cover long-term care.
Correct.
Okay, they don't. If you need somebody to come in and give you a bath
Mhm.
and certain things, your insurance is not going to cover that.
Right. No, basic insurance, health insurance doesn't. Right.
And the cost of the insurance with it is going to continue to uh, escalate,
Yeah.
and the amount of service that you get from it is going to continue to deteriorate.
Yeah. Right.
So
Right.
what
Right.
happens is all of these things start to fall on your kids. If you got the kind of kids that care about you, because most kids, they like she said, they don't want to be bothered. They'll take you and put you in a nursing home or somewhere else where somebody else can take care of you and they don't have to worry about you. But when they were raising you and taking care of you and nurturing and cultivating you, it was all good. But once you get old,
Yeah.
then people don't want to be bothered with you anymore. That you become useless, and then so that's what I worry about. So that's why, like, okay, I got to take care
Mhm.
of myself, and I don't want to become
Yeah.
a burden. I wouldn't want to become a burden on my daughter anyway. She's not that type of person to go and put me off into a nursing home, but I would do it anyway because I know she needs to take care of herself. I don't want her to be responsible for taking care of me.
Sure. Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So we
Right.
need to think about all these things while we're younger and in our right mind. So, okay, what's going to happen to me? Oh, it's no guarantee those kids going to be there for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Those kids going to
Right.
like, I'm living my life now. Okay.
Right.
You go over there. I'm telling you,
Right. Right. Well, and Kira or Kyra, I'm not sure how you pronounce it in the chat, is talking
Kyra.
about curate Kyra. Thank you. Curating our words. Like that the effort, like there's like I we're just doing a little subtlety on what you were just saying, the carefully curating our words. um I think so I'm trying to formulate this well, like there's a difference between like choosing our words well so that we're not hurtful to people that we care about. On the other hand, sometimes we're curating our words so that we don't make anyone uncomfortable. And discomfort's not the same as hurt, I don't think. What do you think about that, Margaret?
I am. I am not going to be tiptoeing around people's feelings. I'm going to tell you flat out what I got to say. If you don't like the message,
Right,
then that's on you.
right,
That's where I am today. I'm tired of people pleasing. I'm tired of putting other people's feelings above my own. People don't give a shit about how I feel. Okay.
right.
Somebody told me I was responsible for my own feelings. I don't. In a way, I agree with that, but it's
Yeah.
the way the message was delivered that I didn't like. Okay.
Mm,
As long as I'm coming from a calm place, I will talk to you calmly. I will talk to you civilly. But once you come for me or once I get upset, I have to stop talking because I will say something that's not
right,
nice.
right,
Okay.
right, right.
So we have to know who we are, who we're talking to, and try to make sure we're coming, to the meeting of the minds. If we can't come this way, the conversation is closed because I'm not going to let you take me to the gutter and I'm not going to let you take me to the alley. I'm going to end our conversation and in our friendship if it's necessary, because I'm not going there with you.
Yeah,
It's taking me away from my work. It's taking me away. Is bringing chaos, and I'm not going to allow or tolerate any chaos.
yeah,
Period.
right,
We're done. We can't. We don't see eye to eye. We can agree to disagree. Next. That's where I'm at today.
right, right. So I would argue that causing like what you're just describing, which is like I'm going to speak my truth from a like a hopefully calm and loving place. And if that's causing you to be uncomfortable, that's okay.
That's where I'm at today.
And that's actually like we have to, I mean, we white people need to reread that, especially learn how to reread that as kindness. I think someone telling me the truth and doing it in a way that is maybe not, I'm not tiptoeing around your feelings, but I'm telling you a truth. Like that's okay. That's how we grow, is by being uncomfortable. I've been a long time yoga meditation practitioner, and there's a lot of discomfort involved in that practice. And that what that practice has taught me is that discomfort is okay. Like that and not only okay, like discomfort is safe, discomfort can be okay, and it's the way that we grow and change and learn. Like we were just talking, like you do that as your own practice. I'm hearing is that during the day, if something is bothering you, something you're like, hey, this is not going quite right, you'll stop and write that down and say, hey, this is something I'm going to do better. Right. And like if
Absolutely.
you never felt that discomfort, then you wouldn't even notice. You would just keep doing the same thing. Right.
Like I was talking to Sue Reed yesterday, most of us walking around on autopilot and not paying
Mm-hmm.
attention to what we're saying, what we're
Mm-hmm.
doing. And it's impacting not only our lives, but it's impacting other people's lives,
Correct.
destroying other people's lives. I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah. 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 Right. Right. Hi,
If I can't be
Florence.
a
Hi.
part,
Yeah. I'm
if
just
I
saying
can't be
hi
a
to some of the
part,
people who are joining us.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, if I can't be a part of doing something good in life, then why the hell am I here?
Yeah. Right. Right.
That's where I'm at today. And I'm
I
standing
agree.
on that, and I don't give a damn who don't like it.
Right.
Period.
Right. Yeah. 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 For sure.
So you talked about recognize. I don't know if you want to get into that. Okay, we talked about the
Recognizing if you're
burnout.
burnout. I
Well,
mean,
we
I
talked
think,
about
yeah. I mean, we could talk a little bit more about that. Like, so I gave earlier, gave those three things. So this emotional exhaustion, like a lack of empathy or depersonalization, and then like kind of feeling like nothing you do matters or has any impact on things. Those are sort of the three hallmarks of the original definition of burnout anyway. So that's how to recognize it. Those are the basics of how to recognize it anyway. And we've already said originally it was talking about work specifically, but they have applied that to other things like caregiving, parenting. I think we can be burned out if we're activists, for example. We might get burned out on that. I know that I have felt burned out about one aspect of my life and not others, for example, or even one part of work and not other parts. I think it can be really, like, yeah. So I think that that whole thing is really complicated, and can be really subtle, and recognizing it can be hard. And I'll just say one more thing, and I think there's someone who dropped a oh, Karen is talking about what about turning the other cheek? Oh, I have things to say about turning. Can
oh
we
my
bookmark that?
God.
And I have something to offer about that
Okay.
too, but you may have something too. Let's go back to that, Margaret, because I like that. I'll just finish this real quick about burnout. That I think our culture is actually built to burn us out. If you think about how hard the system like makes us work, like if you're just even thinking about your job, like let's just think about your job for a minute. And that's not even all the other things that we have to do. Like in order to like prove ourselves, we have to work extra hours, right? There's this culture of like, oh, to do your job well, you're going to have to do extra things, extra hours, especially now with the technology we have, answer emails and phone calls and text messages at all kinds of times. Blah, who needs all of that? Um, like, um, but that burns us out. It's designed to burn us out. So we might actually, a lot of us are probably wandering around burned out and not even knowing that we're burnt out. So it's not just a sense of exhaustion, although I think that's a part of it. It's a deeper thing than that. And I think most of us walk around at some level of burnout without even with probably not even knowing it, because everybody's wandering around. Because think about it. If you ask someone how they are, how often do people reply, "Oh, I'm just so busy,"
Or I'm okay.
or "I'm okay," or "I'm fine"? right? Which isn't really the story, right? Usually, it's rare that that's the whole story. That I'm okay is not the answer. There's a different answer,
You know
or
why?
I'm busy. I'm guilty of saying that. Like, I try not to say I'm busy to that question, although I do it still sometimes, because really what I'm doing is like I'm saying I'm busy, and that's some sort of badge of honor. Like, our culture rewards being overworked, like, too busy, things like that. Our culture rewards that. So, like, burnout is just a normal state, I think, for a lot of us, until we've gotten out, until like Margaret here, who says, "I'm taking the retirement package and leaving. I'm done with y'all." And
What
then
the hell
maybe, like, you
is?
can decompress a little bit, or with people who I've had conversations with already in my just the few, podcasts I've already done so far, like, most of them I've interviewed have had burnout stories, and they will talk about, like, leaving whatever the grind was for them and letting their nervous systems recover. And then coming out on the other side of that, and the way you come out on the other side is wildly different. The boundaries you set are really different because you realize that what you were doing was harmful to your body, just flat out harmful. And so people do come back, and so what it often requires, these are dramatic stories I'm talking about, but what it requires is like a pretty dramatic slowdown for any of us. Even if it doesn't mean totally quitting your job or whatever the case may be, like stopping and taking a really different pace. Yeah.
I am still decompressing, not only from that job,
Yeah.
that career, but also from the childhood because I was working the whole time and I was
Hmm.
numbing myself,
Yeah.
okay, focusing just on this job. But I had internalized all of these things, okay?
Yeah.
And it was come out at certain times. It comes out in your conversations with
Right.
people. And people was like, why are you so reactive? Why are you so toxic? Well, pushing all this stuff down, trying to be mindful, trying to be professional, trying to be, you know, uh, trying to be, keep the peace,
Hmm.
not to be the problem, trying not to be too much and all of these things. But I'm killing myself in the process. That's why I am not turning the other cheek. Okay,
Hmm.
not doing that shit no more. Turning
Yeah.
the other cheek, and then people gonna keep pe- people see an opportunity to treat you like shit. They're gonna do it because they get off on it. Okay, I'm telling you what I know. I've been beat up and prodded and poked and stalked and harassed. I'm not taking anymore. I'm not turning
Hmm.
the other cheek. When I turn the other cheek, it's gonna be out the door. That's my turning of the
I
cheek.
like that. Well,
Period.
can I offer an alternative interpretation to that text for a second? So Margaret knows this, but maybe some of the listeners don't yet know this because they haven't met me before. I'm also an ordained clergy person in the United Church of Christ, and we can have a whole
Oh,
live about the church and how it burnt me out. But we're not. That's why I'm doing the work that I'm doing. But
oh.
let me talk about this text because I didn't know this until I went to seminary. So there's something about the cultural context you need to know about that scripture, which not everybody talks about. And I'm doing this off the top of my head. So I'll try to find some sources and maybe drop them in the comments later. So bear with me. I'm going to do my best without having thought about this in a hot minute. So, if someone if a superior, someone who's superior to you, is slapping you for some reason, like they're doing it open-handed. So I'm going to show, like I'm doing it with this is my right hand, although you're seeing it on the left. This is, and I would I would slap someone across the face, right? Well, if you turn the other cheek, what does it force someone to do with that hand when they hit you? They're going to hit backhand, right? Unless they switched hands completely. But the natural reflex is a backhand. And here's the thing, in the culture, you weren't allowed to do that. That was actually that turned it around on the person who was doing the hitting because it wasn't acceptable for you to hit with a backhand.
Mm.
And so doing the turning the other cheek wasn't just taking their beating. Like, that's not what that was. It was showing them how, like, it was turning the shame and the degradation back on them. And some would argue in a nonviolent way. Um, and so, like, I'm just going to give you, and I'll find some sources on that and drop them in this chat later. Because it's been a minute since I've had to tell that and teach that in a while. So I'll find some sources on that. But people who are like biblical scholars, people who know about the cultural context, will say any number of those things that seem to us now, because we don't know what all of those things meant culturally, are often like, oh no, Jesus wasn't telling you just to take a beating. Jesus was telling you that this is a way to resist. This is a way to resist and turn the violence back on them in a different way. And so if you were taught, Margaret, and I bet a lot of people on this call were, that it was like, oh, just take it and it'll be all right when you go to
Mhm.
heaven or whatever, that kind of thing. That's not
Mhm.
necessarily, you can interpret that in a different way. That's not what it meant.
I know that.
Yeah, yeah. Have you heard that before? It's a fun
Yeah,
interpretation. Yeah.
my father was a minister
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
Baptist church. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. But I'm not taking that crap. I'm not doing it.
That's fine. You don't have to. We should not be hitting each other across the face, by the way. I'm not advocating for that for sure. I'm just saying, like, I bet a lot of the people on here don't necessarily, like, a lot of people don't get taught that, Margaret. I didn't. I grew up Catholic. Went to 12 years of Catholic school, and no one taught me that about that scripture until I was in my late 20s and I went to seminary. It's
No,
wild.
you don't have to take abuse to go to heaven. I'm not
Yeah.
doing that. If that's what it takes,
Absolutely
whatever.
not. Right. Absolutely not. Right.
You talked about resist, but what we didn't talk about is how can you tell in your body when you have this burnout?
Oh, okay. Let's talk about that. So I bet most people in this call could drop in the chat, like, what do you think it feels like in your body when you're burnout? Answer that question, but I'll try to answer it too. I think anytime that, say, we're tired and then our bodies kick in to we say, okay, I'm tired. You're on some level, you know, you need to stop that day. And then we make the choice because of pressure, pressure to finish something, pressure to do whatever, pressure to be perfect. We power through that. And so what is happening is that our body is kicking up a lot of stress hormones. It's like giving you some adrenaline and cortisol and things like that to push through and power through the moment. Our bodies are designed to do that in stress because it's designed to do that for actual physical threats. Like, so if you're being physically threatened by someone, you have the ability to run away or to fight back or to do what you need to do to get out of the harm. And then your body is designed to decompress from that. The problem with our culture is that we are constantly pushed past that limit and into that stress cycle. And the Burnout book that I mentioned earlier by Emily and Amelia Nagoski does a really good job of describing this. So we should be able to move through and resolve this, but this is happening dozens of times a day for us, most likely. And so we're doing, and I had this conversation with Ishel Lunar, who has a great Substack here called Dragon Letters that y'all should read. They were on my podcast. Find Ishel. It's IXCHEL Lunar, LUNER. And they are fantastic and talk about what it's like to live in colonized time, which is essentially what I'm just talking about. And that most of us are living in this adrenalized state. It's like that we're kicking up all of those stress hormones. We don't ever feel safe. We don't, and so because we don't feel safe, we're going to do that one last thing that our boss wants us to do for work. Or even when we're not our own bosses, I wonder if you've dealt with this too. Even when we're our own bosses now, like, oh, say I've left having a traditional job and I'm my own boss, I power through all the time because I feel like I have to grind. I feel like I'm going to have to do I'm going to have to send one more email. I'm going to have to send one more thing. I'm going to have to, oh, I have to improve one more page on my website or whatever the thing is that I think is going to save me, which it's not, quite frankly. Like, or it'll be fine if I do that in the morning. Like, it'll get done. So I think what that feels like in our body is like what it feels like to me, and you all can tell me, everybody's body is a little different. It feels like a profound sense of heaviness and like this sense that I've hit a wall. And if I push through that too much, which I surely have in my life, if I push through that too often and too much, there's going to come a time when you just aren't going to be able, you're not going to be able to push through. You're not going to be able to do the kind of work you're able to do. It might come in the form of not being able to be focused very well. It may come in the form of, oh gosh, not focused or scattered, or a sense of, or just sort of a constant sense of anxiety, whether you have like an anxiety disorder or not. Like sort of a constant state of like, I have to go, 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 go. And that's those hormones doing that. That's not your body operating out of a real place of having grounded, centered energy, out of a well rested body. That's for sure. I hope that helps. Does that help a little bit? Like sort of talking about what that feels like in our body?
Absolutely. And I think it's important for people to recognize the signs because a lot of times it's just like a car. Your car will start making noise and you'll forget it. And before you know it, you'll be on the side of the road. Your car will be broke down. So we have to pay attention to the signs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
act accordingly because our body that will impact, it can turn into an autoimmune disease. It can turn
Yeah.
into heart disease.
For sure.
Affects your kidneys. It can affect multitude of your organs, and eventually this stress will break it down, and it's not good. And it
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
affects our nervous system, our everything.
Yeah, it does. It affects, and so those things that are stress related illnesses can be linked to this kind of thing. Anything like um Florence on our chat has named like 10, like this is a real like a basic one that probably all of us feel at one time or another, like tension in neck and shoulders or other parts of the body. That's a really good simple like that's something our body is telling it. And Florence is talking about going and getting massages really regularly to help take care of that, to help you move
I
through
go,
that.
I
And
go once a month.
let's reduce the number of things that cause it in the first place. That's both of those things are great. I love massages, so I'm never going to tell you not to do those. But
I
let's
go,
also
yeah,
prevent it in the first
yes.
place. Yeah.
I go once a month. And to the I go to the chiropractor first, and then no, he has a masseuse. I'll get the
Okay.
massage first, and
Yep.
then I get the correction because we're sitting on at the computer every day,
Yeah,
all day, and
for
our
sure.
body is we're not using our posture is not good.
Right.
Okay, and all of these things weigh on the body, and
Right.
she'll say all the stress, like you said, is in your shoulders and in
Yes.
your upper back. Okay, that's where
Yes.
all the stress is. So I go there once a month,
Yeah.
and I feel so better when I leave that place.
Right. Right. I would also say that
Yes.
having and this will again can be different for different people. Like I think it's really important to have some kind of spiritual practice. For me, that's yoga and meditation. That might be prayer. That might be journaling. That might be walks in nature for you, like, or, several of those things. We need those practices that connect us not only to and ground us in our own bodies, but that help connect us to a higher sense of self, a higher sense of purpose, to God, the universe, whatever you want to call that thing. Different people call that different things. But like connect to that thing beyond ourselves, because that is a really important tool for combating burnout. If we're connected to that higher sense of self or that higher sense of purpose or to God or something divine, we have a lot of insulation. Yeah, that's a lot of insulation from burnout. And you were naming that earlier. Like, you can't take my faith is something that's rock solid to me, even if everyone else is not supporting me, right? Like there's something that
Exactly.
can't be taken away from me internally. And I think that's why that is such a powerful tool that we have at our disposal.
Most definitely. I
Yeah.
couldn't I couldn't agree more.
Hmm.
Does anyone else have any questions or anything? This has been really a good conversation. Thank you.
I have. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have a lot
Oh,
of
okay.
good comments. I'm gonna have to go back. I've been doing my best to read the comments, but they're coming too fast. That's for sure. I
Okay.
really appreciate
She
you having me today. This has been such a fun conversation, Margaret.
Yes, yes, it is. And LCD says yes, she has hypertension now
Yeah.
due to this stress. Yeah, I do too. I have type 2 diabetes, which is
Mm,
reversible.
right.
Okay. And but hypertension, yeah, I have high blood pressure. It's part of genetics.
And those are all,
Certain
yeah, stress related. Those are all stress related
yes,
illnesses. Yeah, that are, as we
right.
know, almost epidemic in the United States. Um, and we blame it on a lot of things, but we don't ever really examine how hard our culture makes us work. We don't think about the culture at creating that. We make it an individual problem. Well, it must be what you're eating or what you're doing or not getting enough exercise. Don't ask the question, what is my job asking me to do and why is it preventing me from taking care of myself in the first place? That it doesn't support that. So I'm sorry, I'm going to get off that soapbox. I can go on that for a long time too. Also, how much rest are you getting? Are you getting enough sleep? That's another, I learned that from that burnout book, actually, that not getting enough sleep is one of the is one of the best indicators for people with type 2 diabetes. Like that's related to it. But how often has your doctor ever asked you, are you getting enough sleep? That's not the first thing they ask anyway. They might ask, but that's usually not the first thing. They'll talk about what are you eating, or because we're so obsessed with weight, like, which is we can have a whole other conversation about that, Margaret. But like,
Yeah.
because we're so obsessed with, weight and how much are you moving and all of that kind of stuff, they'll ask that first. I mean, I've occasionally, but rarely been asked about how much sleep do I get and how good is the sleep. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's why we have to eliminate the chaos. When I have less chaos during the day, I sleep better at night.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Me too.
And so if we're not getting enough exercise, there's things that we can do. I got a vibrator, the vibrating machine.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can use that while you're sitting on a computer for your legs. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we have to look at how can I get this exercise in. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
every
yeah,
little step helps, okay, with
for sure.
getting to our overall goal. This has been amazing conversation. We'll have to
Yeah,
talk again,
I
right?
would love that anytime, and, where I would love maybe to have you over on my feed sometime too, so let's talk about that. We'll do that another time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Sure.
It's been amazing. And enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you
I
all for
will,
coming.
I will.
Thank you so
Yeah, thank
much.
you all for coming, this has been great. Have a great day, bye-bye.
All right, bye bye.